so glad to have you here with the Legacy Lounge. Leo Chan is my friend and colleague, and he is the founder of Abound Innovation Incorporated. He is a people and heart-first entrepreneur who believes everyone can be an innovator. An innovator himself with 55 US patents and over 20 years of experience, Leo has come alongside organizations like Chick-Fil-A and guided them to unleash the innovative potential of their employees by transforming them into confident innovators. Leo's friendly, joyful, and enthusiastic demeanor makes the journey to innovation exciting and attainable. Leo's also a LEGO Series play facilitator and trainer who believes unlocking innovation takes new approaches. Thank you for joining me, Leo. And I can certainly speak to the wonder of being involved with your LEGO Series play. I've been fortunate to be able to do that. And without a doubt, you are joyful and friendly.
Thanks, Sherry, for the validation. I'm super excited to be here. So thanks for having me today.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to ask you the same 5 questions that I ask most of the people when I interview them. So the first one is, what is legacy to you? I would love to hear that.
Yeah, I think legacy to me is making impact to people. I think it means it's something that's, I guess, after you leave or after you've gone, you've been able to influence or impact another human. I think that's really what it's about. So if you're been able to inspire them about something, teach them something, equip them with something that makes them better, then that's a legacy. And it doesn't need to be in really large ways or small ways, but as long as you've positively influenced somebody and for the better, that's legacy to me.
That's wonderful. It's like leaving a residue.
Yeah, leaving a residue. I like that.
And what is the why story behind, or what is your history as far as what motivated you to build legacy?
That's interesting. I think one of the first things when I was in the corporate environment, when I realized this word, or I guess impacting others, was meaningful, it sort of just came happenstance. And so I worked at State Farm Insurance, and I was a graphic designer / web designer. And one of the problems that our department was having was that wasn't me, but a staff member of mine, he was backlogged with a ton of work. And it was so bad that it was like a week long. Like if he sent in updates to something, it would take him a week because there's just so many requests. And so I thought, hey, I could train the people that are sending the requests on coding, web coding, which is actually something pretty complicated to teach. But for whatever reason, I was like, I can do this. So I pitched this idea. It wasn't even for me, but I'm like, I pitched the idea to my boss. I'm like, I bet you wouldn't be cool if they could learn and do it themselves. And, my colleague, he'll have more time. People are happier, da, 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 da. So I created this training program on HTML code. And how do you explain HTML code? And I'm not even like a hardcore programmer. I needed it for web design. So I knew enough, but I said, how could I teach this in a way that's understandable in everyday language? And so anyway, so I create this kind of like, it was a pilot program for the organization. And I think there were like 35 to 50, something like that, participants in this. And they were pretty much all of them were terrified to start. They're like sounds cool, but this is kind of freaky. And I was like, I got you, like, no worries and whatever. And what happened was that people were able to learn this, but not only were they able to learn this, they were like thriving in it. Like, so these were admin folks that were making updates to websites, and I taught them a new skill, and I saw transformation happen to these people. So I saw people move from like, I'm completely terrified, to like, I love this and I'm going to train other people on it. And now I'm a power user and I'm championing it and all of that. And that was the first taste for me in the corporate setting of legacy, because what I saw was I empowered them to do something that they didn't even know they wanted to do, but they were curious and they leaned into it, and then they became champions of it. And so that became something kind of dear to my heart, because I was like, maybe I like L&D. Like I never knew that this training thing would be so empowering. And so that was like my first taste of that when I was at State Farm. And so when I moved to Chick-Fil-A Innovation, I got to do that again, but now it was aligned with my passion for innovation. And so I got to teach and mentor people that were curious about the word, that, they had curiosity and creativity, but they weren't really sure what to do with that and how it related to innovation. And I saw the same life change happen to them, where it became invaluable to them. And and I think for me, it was like, well, I get to have some impact on their lives. Like I want them to see something new, and now they're experiencing joy and meaning in what they're doing. And I'm like, I got to have influence over that. And so that's why it's so meaningful to me, is because you get to empower people to do things perhaps they've never dreamed of, or they always wanted to but didn't know how. And then you just kind of get to be there and be the cheerleader and be like, cool, like I had a narrative in that story, and what an amazing thing it is to see them do really cool stuff.
That's awesome. So it becomes like a shift in culture.
Yeah.
As what they believe is even possible for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. So cool. And so with that in mind, what do you feel like, or hoping that you're doing right now, that affects this generation or generations to come?
Yes. So I've since left Chick-Fil-A. Now I'm a business owner, right? So I own a company called Abound Innovation Inc. And my mission is actually to create more innovators. And I fundamentally believe there are people in this world that want to make a difference. They want to use their creative gifts that they have, and they don't know how to like fully utilize that to really lean into it. Yeah. And so my goal is to, as big as it sounds, to democratize innovation. It's almost like what Canva did for design. They made design accessible for all. Yeah. My mission is to make innovation accessible to all. It's the same dream that Canva had, and I really think that I'm one of the people that can do that, because I love equipping. I want a legacy to equip and empower other people. And I think I've really learned how to do this well in my corporate experience. And so that's my mission now. It's to bring innovation to more people. And I've gotten to see people in all industries. I've worked with all sorts of industries and people from all kinds now. And it's really cool to see them leaning into innovation and moving on with it. So
that's amazing. And I know that you do such a great job of creating safe space for people to experience the possibility of them being innovators. Because I think sometimes that we have this strange narrative that we believe that we're not.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that like you do such amazing work around shifting that thought process, and it's done through discovery of I think I could do this. I do this little thing, and maybe I could do a bigger thing.
That's right. Little by little. Exactly. Yeah. Because the thing with innovation, it's very human. Like it's not terrifying, but when we're doing new things, we don't know what's going to happen. So inherently there's fear and there's ambiguity, it's unknown, and we're human. So we feel it. And then we're like, ugh. So to have somebody to come alongside you and be like, it's okay. That's normal. I feel that too. It happens to me. I've been doing this for years. No worries. Like, I got your back. Let's do this together. Let's figure it out. And I think that is what really can help empower people, because it is kind of scary to go into this type of stuff. But when you know that someone's got your back, you got a friend, they're going to help you along, then you're like, okay, let's do that. Like, I want to lean into it. And this happens with anything that we learn that's new, right? Like, anytime we start something, we're like, ugh. And it takes practice and encouragement and all those things to move past that and then get really good at it and then start loving it.
And I think when we share it together, whether it's like the anxiety and recognizing that we all experience it, that's part of where the joy gets birthed too.
Yeah.
It's like you go, oh, we could do this together. It'll be okay. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Leo. So as excited and joyful and whatever as you are, what keeps you up at night? Through it, it's okay. And what do you hope to see?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, ideas keep me up at night, so I'm always thinking about different things, and having a big vision like this too. I think sometimes I wonder, is that too grandiose? Do people even want this? Like, it's one of those like market validation type things, or am I just passionate about it but nobody else is? Those types of thoughts, those sometimes run through my head. I call them like little gremlins that probably aren't useful or helpful thoughts, but when it's such a big vision, it's like, how does that even come to fruition? And I have to remind myself that we all start from somewhere. So, some people have larger audiences and they've been able to have impact, influence, but it just starts with one person. And I think when you look at it that way, and if I can impact this one person in this moment today, that's great. And then the next day and the next day, and over time, like, you've impacted tons of people. So I think sometimes my dreams keep me up at night because they're so big and I have tons of ideas. which is kind of actually how innovation works, because when we sleep, our brain's really active, which we don't tend to think of. And so sometimes your brain's like, hey, I got some ideas for you. You want to wake up and let's have a conversation? But yeah, so that's what the things that keep me up at night.
And actually, in conjunction with that dream, there are so many innovations and so many inventions that have come as a result of dreams. It's fascinating. Like historically, it's incredible. So
yeah.
And with your 55 patents, I'm sure that some of those have come as a result. So yeah, that's amazing. I love that. So my last question, what do you imagine is possible, Leo Chan?
Oh, that's a great, anything actually. I truly believe that anything is possible, and I'm thankful that I have a mindset like this.
Yeah.
So I think for some people we can get limited because we're always told no, or it's got to be this way and whatever. And I think actually this possibility mindset I think I attribute it to Star Trek and watching Star Trek when I grew up, because I grew up watching, like, yeah, it's fictitious, of course, but people boldly going into space and doing new things, inventing new technology, meeting new civilizations, like anything was possible. And so that mindset has always been in me. And I grew up with the internet. So it was interesting because I always had this thought, like, you know, whatever I want to do, I bet you I could learn it. And I bet you somebody has posted something on the internet that I can find or I can collaborate with, and we can work together and make this a reality. And so even when I was in design school, I remember there was a project that I was working on. It was an interactive website, and I'm not a hardcore programmer. Like, I knew enough to like get stuff working, but there was stuff I wanted to do and I couldn't. And so I remember I was like, anything's possible. I'm like, what if I post my problem on a forum and see if I could get help? And so, you know, I posted exactly what I was looking to do, and the internet was gracious. There's certain people that replied to me, and they're like, and I was like, I'm a design student, I don't know how to do this. And so they helped me out and made it possible. And that website particularly won a design award. And I attribute it to, you know, just thinking that anything's possible. And, you know, it's really cool because in this world, like, if you reach out to people, you just never know what might happen. Like, reach out and talk to them, and, you know, people are generous and gracious. And so I think anything is possible. I think we just need to have the tenacity to go after it, believe in it enough that, you know, we'll reach out, we'll spend the time, we'll sit on it, we'll dream about it and do the work, and we can make anything happen. We just need to put our minds to it and go for it.
That's an amazing perspective, and certainly one of a lifelong learner. And yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that there is brilliance ahead of us. I think that the ability to collaborate and do things together with people, I think we've never had a more optimistic time or opportunity to do that. So yeah, I love that perspective. It's so good. And yeah, fun kudos to the Star Trek stuff. Very cool. So yeah, well, Leo, is there a place that people could connect with you or follow what you're doing, or participate in some of your amazing opportunities that you offer? So why don't you share your website and also your IG handle? So
yeah, I'm my username is @everyone-can-innovate. So it's pretty easy. That's what I believe too. So I actually changed my name on LinkedIn, which maybe it's not normal, but I changed myself on LinkedIn to @everyone-can-innovate. So I post often about things I'm thinking about, things I'm learning, innovation examples, stories, what inspires me. So if you're on a journey to want to learn innovation, if you want to be inspired on how to innovate better, follow me there. I post things regularly, and message me too. I like to collaborate, I like to talk to all kinds of people. So feel free to message me and let's have a chat.
Okay, that's awesome. And that's your IG handle too, right?
Yep, @everyone-can-innovate. Yep.
Okay, awesome. And your website too now?
Oh, right. It's aboundinnovation.ca. Aboundinnovation.ca.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us at the Legacy Lounge. I love what you're doing. It's akin to my heart. And yeah, I think we have such amazing potential as humanity. Yeah. And I think we have exciting things ahead of us. So I think we are definitely born creative, and that unfortunately seems to get learned out of us or something, and we lose the joy of it. And so I love your joy and how you spread the possibility of goodness everywhere you go. So thank you so much, Leo.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor.